In this video, we will be seeing what happens when I pour these very small pieces of paper into that fan. So this is the box fan, and before we pour those very small pieces of paper into this fan, we will need to remove this front grill thing for two main reasons. I will need to remove this front grill thing because these fans are designed to have a front grill that rotates, and so that they can blow air all around the room. The front grill angles the air diagonally so that when this front grill rotates, it will blow air all over the place. The other reason for removing this front grill is that the very small pieces of paper can fall into the blades if they can. I'm not sure if these very small pieces of paper will even fall into the fan blades when the fan is turned on, but we will see. We will need to remove this front grill from this fan, so I'm going to show you how to remove this front grill thing from this type of box fan. So first, find this metal knob or whatever it is, and we are going to twist it. We will twist this until it can come off. So now there are two screws on here, and we will need to unscrew them. Okay, now I think we can just take this straight off. Okay, so that's the front grill thing removed from the fan, and now we can try to pour these very small pieces of paper into the fan when it's turned on. So now the fan is blowing air straight up, and these very small pieces of paper can get dropped into the fan blades if the wind isn't powerful enough to blow them up. We're actually going to try 4 different experiments today. We're first going to start with the fan on and then pour these very small pieces of paper into the fan to see what happens. For the next experiment, we're going to start with the fan off and put the very small pieces of paper on the fan blades and then turn the fan on. For the third experiment, we're going to see what happens when we put the very small pieces of paper underneath the fan blades and then turn the fan on. And for the fourth experiment, we're going to put the fan up straight and just pour the small pieces of paper above the fan and see how they move. Alright, we're gonna start off by seeing what happens when we pour these very small pieces of paper into the fan while it's on. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that was pretty interesting. The fan made the small pieces of paper all just fly all over the place. And I don't think any of the paper went into the fan blades because the fan was blowing up so much air. Okay, I've picked up all of the very small pieces of paper, and for the next experiment we will start off with the fan turned off and then putting these small pieces of paper onto the fan blades. Alright, I have put those very small pieces of paper onto each of the fan blades, and a few of the pieces of paper fell down, but most of it is still on the blades. Turn on the fan and see what happens. Alright, that also looked pretty interesting, like the first experiment. And I will pick all of these small pieces of paper up, and then we're going to try putting the pieces of paper underneath the fan blades and then turning the fan on to see what happens. Alright, I've now put all of the pieces of paper underneath the fan blades, and let's turn on the fan again and see what happens. Alright, that was very similar to putting the pieces of paper on top of the fan blades, except the fan blades were hitting the pieces of paper more. You could hear the fan blades hitting the pieces of paper. For the final experiment in this video, I have put the fan up here, and I will pour these small pieces of paper down about here when the fan is turned on. Alright, so that looked pretty interesting, and so the fan blew the pieces of paper in this direction while the paper was falling down. That's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed watching it, and I should be able to make even more of these interesting videos.